What's up? What's up? It's Money Mike and with Waiver Wire. I'm over here with our co-host Marco Nunez, former head athletic trainer and now he runs his own practice, Evolve Athletic Performance. You know, he what he does in his regular job, he goes out there and works on his athletes and get them back on the field. So we thought we put together a show called Waiver Wire for all those fantasy football fans out there right now, and we want to talk about the injuries that happen every week. So thank you guys for tuning in with us. Marco, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm just here to help everybody try to hopefully win their fantasy football league this year. My goal is try to give you a little more of an insight of what the lingo, of what they're talking about when you hear on ESPN or any other site or any computer site or any website about what's happening, any reports. So I'm hoping to try to help you break that down.
Yeah. That's great because, look, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm already hurting because – man, my guy Keenan Allen already went down, so I know he's going to be on the list. So we got to get to that, but we're going to run through a couple injuries that's already happened. Man, look, this was a great first week of football in 9/11. So let's go ahead and start off with Elijah Mitchell. He went down with a knee. What do you think about that?
Yeah, so this kind of hurts me personally too because I'm in 3 leagues and I have him in two leagues myself. He was going to be one of my top running backs for this upcoming season. Now, what they're talking about is that he hurt his knee. They haven't specified any kind of mechanism of injury. I don't recall seeing any video that he got hit or his knee buckled or anything of that sort. So that's kind of worries me a little bit. Now, the conditions, from what I remember, I was watching like the pregame and the clinic or the crew was out there like literally sweeping puddles of water off the field. So the field itself was a little wasn't the best at the time. So what I'm anticipating and what I'm kind of guessing here is it's either hopefully it's nothing your worst case scenario that he tore his ACL, possibly an MCL, but only time will tell. What's going to happen is they're in Chicago. They're going to probably wait till they go back to San Francisco, either late tonight or tomorrow. They're going to have to do an MRI to try to determine what exactly is going on the part. Now, from what I was looking at and what I was reading on the reports is that he left the arena or the stadium with a knee brace. Now, doesn't mean anything. All it does means is that, hey, the sports medicine staff was being cautious. They put him on a brace just to make sure that he didn't slip or fall. I mean, it was wet conditions there, right. Getting in and out of the bus, stuff like that. That can make it worse. So I think this is more precautionary, but, it's still going to be something that we have to wait and see. So we're hoping to have some kind of results by either Monday evening or by Tuesday morning to try to determine what's going on.
Right, but isn't it a good sign, though, that he kind of walked on his own power with the knee brace?
Correct.
Like, that means it's probably not a torn MCL or anything like that, or?
Well, yeah, so the great thing, that the positive silver lining here is that he wasn't in crutches.
Okay.
I'll take that. So the fact that he walked on his own, he was not in crutches, that was a huge positive sign to tell me that there was nothing fragile, there was anything majorly severe. At least they don't anticipate or they don't think so. But he still left in a knee brace, still fingers crossed. Hopefully it wasn't anything, season-ending injury on that part. So it's just a matter of waiting and seeing. We got to get the report and then go from there.
Yeah, and we're going to get an update on that later this week for sure. Mm-hmm. So let's go through Najee Harris. Again, that's my running back. I think I picked him, man, I think it was like my second or third pick. And so he hurt his foot. What's going on, man? Look, I got to win these. I got to win these leagues, man. These players gotta stay healthy, man.
So one of the things I will tell you that I learned I've been doing fantasy football for about 15 years now. The one thing that I've learned, I remember there was one gentleman that I was in this league, and he mentioned, hey, you know what? The draft is very vital. The draft is very important. You draft the guys. One thing I've learned is that it doesn't matter how well you draft during the draft. It's how you pick up during the waiver wires as the weeks go by. Because you can have the perfect roster. You can get the Aaron Rodgers. You get the Najee Harris. You can get the Elijah Mitchells and Keenan Allen, stuff like that. But what happens? So in this case, they're not sure what's going on. Again, there wasn't any mechanism injury. I think he got tackled and kind of rolled over. Somebody rolled over his foot on the part. They're gonna have to do some MRIs as soon as they get back. And then we're going to try to determine, see what's going on that part. And as far as the return to play or the timeline, that's where we're going to have to wait to see exactly. Hopefully, it's nothing severe as far as fracture. Hopefully, knock on wood, worst case scenario, what happened to running back for the Tennessee Titans last year? He had what's called a Jones fracture. They put him out for a good. Yeah, that was your guy.
Man, that was my guy. Like
your guys.
He took. Man, we were done. Because see, that's the thing about fantasy football. Like you always get just one or two players that are consistent and give you points every week. And then if you lose those 20 points, man, it just kills you.
Oh yeah,
and you had no replacement.
Yeah, and Najee Harris last year was he's a workhorse. That's the one.
Yeah.
Whenever I draft running backs, I'm a huge proponent for workhorses. I try to stay away from committees. I hate committees.
Right.
That's not my thing. But if it is what it is for some of you guys, Najee Harris is a workhorse. So he's a guy that I would always want to draft because I know they're going to give him the ball both running and passing. He's the go-to guy type of thing. So that kind of hurts me whenever someone like Najee Harris is going to kind of go down that part. So now in this part, we have to just wait and see what the MRI reports. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Follow us on Instagram at Waiver Wire Podcast for the updates on Tuesday or Wednesdays once the reports come out for that one.
All right, cool. So look, Keenan Allen, man, like he's the number one receiver. Like this is what we're doing. This is supposed to be everybody. We out here in LA. They paid the Raiders. I'm actually a Raider fan. It was hyped out there in SoFi. Chargers won, but Keenan Allen is their number one receiver, man, and. That guy hamstring, and they have him out 1 to 3 weeks right now, and they're going to schedule MRI. But what does 1 to 3 weeks tell you? Like, they think it's pretty severe, right?
Correct. Well, no, the 1 to 3 weeks, if that's the case, that might be more of a first degree kind of hamstring strain. So that's not that bad type of thing. But they still have to do the MRI to be able to determine if it's a first degree or second degree hamstring strain. But the MRI is going to show you how big the tear is, and based on the length of the tear, that'll determine what's the first, second degree. We're hoping that it does stay within the first degree. If it's just a first degree hamstring strain, we're looking at about maybe 7 and 14 days around there, or 1 to 3 weeks type of thing. There'll probably be a 50-50 chance, probably questionable chance for him to play next weekend. If not, it's probably most likely expect him to play the following weekend. Now, in this case, if he doesn't play, you have to try to figure somebody out to try to pick up. I think we have a couple of guys. Who do you think they should be able to pick up if Keenan Allen doesn't play for next week?
Man, look, if Keenan doesn't play, I mean, they let me look at the depth chart right quick. I'm sorry, I didn't. You threw that to me, and I mean, hey, we live here. What we have?
So I think we had a little bit, remember?
Yeah. Yeah, my fault. There you go. Hey, DeAndre Carter. And or Jalen Guyton. It looks like they're going to be the next man up for them. So yeah, definitely. Might want to look at them on the waiver wire so that way we can go ahead and put them. But he's something right now that you probably wouldn't drop from your team right now. Just put him on the bench right now.
Definitely do not drop Keenan Allen whatsoever. Now, if you have an IR and he is out, definitely put him on the IR on the part. But definitely keep Keenan Allen. There's no way you're going to stash him. Drop him. Even if he does have a second degree hamstring strain, he's expected to probably come back in 4 weeks. If you can survive and hang in there, it's only week 1. So,
right.
If we were like in week 10 or something like that, you're starting to kind of break away from people, or people are trying to break away from you. Week 1, hang in there. Hopefully 4 weeks. Like Money Mike mentioned, DeAndre Carter is one of the great pickups. I think he caught a touchdown from Herbert today, so he seems to be a go-to guy for Herbert. So definitely pick him up if he's available on your roster and your teams.
Yeah. Let's go. Let's move on. Hey, Chris Godwin, man, that guy, he, right now, Sunday Night Football, he's heard they ruled him out, right? He has a hamstring injury as well. They ruled him out, but there's no other reports on that. But we could kind of assume that it's the same thing with him, because obviously these injuries, they're kind of standard.
Well, see, Chris Godwin is a little bit of an interesting one right now because he's the one that's come back from the ACL injury, ACL tear from last season.
Right.
Today, I think from my understanding, he was a game time decision, even coming up to Sunday Night Football. So I personally was surprised to see him on the field. I'm glad he was on the field, and I'm glad he was kind of healthy. So the question kind of begs: is a hamstring strain a secondary issue or an injury due to the ACL tear that he was coming back? Nobody knows, type of thing. But you got to kind of keep an eye on it now. For Chris Godwin, because he's already had the ACL. Now he has a hamstring. Are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are they now going to be playing a little more safe and take a little bit longer to bring him back because now he has almost 2 injuries? Where compared to Keenan Allen, if he's ready to go next week and he feels, hey, I feel pretty good, and he passes out a test, boom, let's go and let's get you out that play. Where Chris Godwin's like, hey, wait a minute, you're coming back from the ACL. Now you have a hamstring strain. We got to take a time to try to bring you back, type of thing. So he's the one that I'm probably a little more concerned. Keenan Allen, we'll see what happens, but yeah, I think that just happened right now on Sunday Night Football.
So we look, Tom Brady, that guy's throw to anybody. So that's why I kind of hate a Tom Brady, team, because 1 week he'll throw to this guy 10 times, and another week he won't throw to him at all. So what do you think? Do we keep Chris Godwin on there?
Definitely keep Chris Godwin. I mean, do not drop him whatsoever. Keep Chris Godwin. I know, like you mentioned, the Buccaneers and Tom Brady have a lot of receivers, and that's one of the reasons when I draft this year, I try to stay away from Tampa Bay Buccaneers receivers because you never know. The only one I think I felt I could trust if he was available was Mike Evans. I think statistically, Mike Evans was his kind of red zone go-to guy type of thing. Other than that, Julio Jones, you don't know. Chris Godwin, you don't know. Even his tight end, I think last year Gronkowski was.
Yeah, but Cameron Brate right now.
Correct. So Cameron Brate's on there. Even I think there's another guy that was there was used to be with the Minnesota Vikings. Kyle Rudolph, I think he's also there now with the Buccaneers. He was a great tight end when he was up with the Vikings.
Yeah.
But you never know. But bottom line, Chris Godwin, keep him. Don't drop him. He's eventually kind of come back. He's going to recuperate from the hamstring strain. He may just take a little bit longer to come back than kind of Keenan Allen. Just so, like I said, maybe the Buccaneers may play it safe with him.
All right. So Higgins, he got a concussion. So, I guess the good thing about that is, he just can't remember nothing, you know what I mean? So, but all of his limbs are good, right?
Yeah.
So, when he's able to remember, he can get back on there. So maybe as long as you remember the plays, of course.
There was a running joke when a player had a concussion. If you remember who he was in basketball, just tell him he's Michael Jordan and put him back in the game. So T. Higgins has a concussion. They haven't identified the degree of concussion, but bottom line, in this case, just like the NBA, the player's going to go into what's called the NFL concussion protocol. He has to go through some certain tests. He has to be symptom-free for a certain amount of time. So there's no true timeline for him. Once he passes the test, once he clears the protocol, he can go in and play. In this case, he can clear the protocol within about 5 to 6 days, so he can definitely probably play the upcoming set as early as next Sunday. If not, it's just a matter of kind of wait and see. So for T. Higgins, you're going to have to just kind of see when he starts getting on the field. If he's back on the field like by Friday or something like that, then there's a safe bet that he's going to play Sunday. But if he hasn't returned to the field by Friday, you may want to pick up somebody else. But from my understanding, I think the Cincinnati Bengals have 2 other great receivers. Jamar Chase is most likely already taken, but there's another receiver I think out there for the Cincinnati Bengals. That you have that one on there.
Let me check. See who we gonna get. Good. Tyler Boyd. So Tyler Boyd, he's there, but he was the number 3 receiver. They're just gonna bump him up to number 2. So I would definitely try to get Tyler Boyd. Because he's going to get more looks, obviously, definitely.
Correct. And I agree with you. I mean, Tyler Boyd is a reliable receiver. He's kind of dropped to the 3rd behind T. Higgins and obviously behind Jamar Chase. Yeah. But I think I recall even last year when T. Higgins was hurt, Tyler Boyd actually stepped up and got a good amount of receptions.
Yeah.
If Tyler Boyd's available in your fantasy team or in your waiver wire, definitely pick him up, put in the bid for him because he's definitely going to get some so whatever targets that we're going to T. Higgins are probably going to go more to Tyler Boyd, especially in the slot where Jamar Chase is going to go for the long ball.
Yeah. So let's talk about something a little different, though. Yep. So, those are the offensive players. And obviously, those are the ones you kind of want to, pick to, make sure you're keeping the game so that way they actually score points and things like that. But then they have defense, too, right? So, T.J. Watt, man, like he had a pectoral major tear. They got him out 6 to 8 months. Surgery, which basically means that he's out for the season. And, I mean, that's a major hit on the defense.
Correct. So, especially if you have the Steelers as your defensive team for fantasy football, this is a huge hit for your team type of thing. I remember last year I had the Baltimore Ravens, and they started solid. But slowly, the defensive, the cornerback started kind of falling apart with ACL injuries. So that took a ding on my defensive teams and tried to get points. So T.J. Watt, from my understanding, is that he has what's called the pectoralis major muscle tear. Pectoralis major muscle is basically your chest muscle. And then for a defensive lineman that has to rush and make contact with the O-line and be able to push the O-line in that part, that's a huge component of that part. So he's going to require surgery. Now, usually it's about 6 to 8 months. They can come back as early as 6 months or 5 months in some cases. But bottom line, unless the Steelers make the playoffs, the regular season, he's going to probably pretty much be done. It's almost similar to what happened to Derrick Henry last year. That the regular season he was done. I think he came back for like the last game or the playoffs type of thing. So there's a small chance he could potentially make the playoffs. But bottom line, he's out now. So
here's a question on that because T.J. Watt. I mean, obviously we know he's a dynamic player. I think he got the sats and all this stuff last year. But here's the thing, though. He's a player that you normally like with double team. They will try to make sure he doesn't get to the quarterback. So now we know that the defense is going to suffer because now whoever replaces him is going to be a one-on-one type of situation. So, but you still have the DBs, you still have the safety, you still have quarterbacks. They still have a lot of good key pieces on the defense. Do you drop that defense trying to find another one, or do you think you roll with them to see how they do, even with TJ Watt out? Because
it depends on who's available in your league. If you have any upgrades, definitely take an upgrade because it's going to take a hit. In this case, if you look at TJ Watt, it's almost like if you lose Aaron Donald for the Rams. Aaron Donald's a huge component of the defense on there. So if Aaron Donald had this injury and he was out for the season, and you had the Rams defense, you're going to be a little worried, like, and that's a huge hit for my defense. This is kind of similar to what that happens as far as TJ Watt. Are they going to falter? Are they going to go to the bottom of the barrel type of thing? No. But if there's any better teams available out there, definitely grab them on that part. But this is a little worse for the defense.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think personally, man, if I had them, I probably would roll with Pittsburgh just one more week. You know what I mean? This is my unscientific opinion because, I want to see what they'll still be able to do. You still have the DBs, safeties there. They able to hold it back. It is a big loss, but man, there's some really bad defensive teams out there. So
I agree, and the Steelers have always been, when you think of Steelers, you think of defense. Way back for Ari Curtin. So Steelers and Baltimore Ravens are probably some of the two teams that have always been solid on defense. So yes, stick with them, see how they roll, type of thing. And if they start giving you only zero, goose eggs or negative points at that point, two games in a row, then it's probably time to kind of lose them and go a different direction type of thing. But for right now, there's no panic. There's no reason to kind of go in and drop them and try to pick somebody else up.
Yeah. So look, let's go on to Mac Jones. He has a lower back and status is unknown. So they're going to give X-rays, MRI, soft tissue, or bone. What are we looking for in that diagnosis? Like when it comes out.
So as far as right now, I think from my understanding is that there's no update as far as what specific injury. They don't know what's going on in the part. I know they're going to do X-rays, and the X-rays are basically to make sure that he doesn't have what's called a stress fracture, stress reaction to the spinal column type of thing. Kind of very similar to what happened to who's the quarterback with the Dallas Cowboys a while back ago. Had the same injury.
You're talking about not Romo.
Romo, yeah.
He
had the same injury to the back that he was out for a couple of weeks type of thing, and then eventually came back. So that's what the X-rays are for.
Right.
Now the MRI is making sure that there's no soft tissue injury. We're hoping that maybe it's kind of like low back muscular spasms or tightness that kind of hurt. You probably took a hit in the back of the area. The muscle kind of tighten up and spasm up. So that's what we're hoping. If that's the case, and that's where the sports medicine staff kind of gets in there, loosens everything up, and hopefully be back by next week. So we're hoping that it's just something minor as far as soft tissue, muscular, nothing as far as bone or nerve issues or anything of that sort. So it's for this part, it's just a matter of waiting and seeing, see what the X-rays tell us and what the MRI is going to tell us on that part.
Yeah. So look, I can't think of the guy's name right now, but he tore his Achilles and he was on the offensive line with the Ravens. Oh my God, I can't think.
I think it was like Juwan. Let me see. Let me look him up right here. I think I have. But either way. So here's the one thing that I think you and I were talking off before we started here going live is that yes, traditionally we don't draft offensive linemen, right?
Juwan James.
We don't draft.
He got carted off
in fantasy football type of thing. But the offensive line protects your quarterback,
right?
And also, not only that, but also the offensive line make holes for your running backs.
Yeah.
So whenever I draft a running back, I'm looking for I want to make sure that they have a strong offensive line. If they have like the weak offensive, like this year, one of the reasons why I wasn't too high on Najee Harris, even though Najee Harris is great, is that from my understanding, the Pittsburgh Steelers had the worst offensive line in the NFL type of thing. So in this case, if you have Lamar Jackson, you might be a little bit concerned because now you have one less person that's going to be protecting him. And in this case, Lamar Jackson is going to be probably running for his life. And if he runs for his life, it increases his chances of having an injury. If it increases to have an injury, there's a chance of him being out. And then not to mention that he's also in contract negotiations.
Yeah, right.
This year.
And that's interesting because he stopped. He said, listen, I'm just going to play out my year. And they offered him, man, a whole lot of money that I would have accepted it. I would accept it. It looked good to me.
I think it was like 250
Yeah,
points
right,
or something of that sort. So that's interesting, though. I mean, like I said, for him, knock on wood, hopefully he doesn't get hurt. If he does get hurt, then it's going to be another contract negotiation of the upcoming year. See what happens.
Yeah, I mean, that's really interesting. So that's another one of those situations. Like, do we trust that that he's guy, is going to be protected? So that way, he may throw an interception. That's going to take away points, make it hurt. So we'll just have to kind of just wait and see with that. But yeah, it's really interesting. But this overall was a great week 1 in NFL. Me personally, I'm in 4 leagues and I'm losing all 4 of my leagues right now. You know what I mean? But it's only 1 week, right? How are you doing in your leagues?
I'm in 3 leagues, so I'm down in 2 leagues. But I have to say, I'm up in this league with the Profanity Nation League. I'm playing Fredo, so I'm up on him last time I checked. So hopefully we'll see what happens.
Okay, yeah, we have to get that out. Well, we're gonna do the pick of the week right after this commercial.
Hi, I'm Renee Starms of the Starms Agency. Do you know why 97% of startups fail? It's because they don't have the proper exposure. So for the first time ever, Infinity Studios and the Starms Agency have come together to provide you with the Little Guys Big Marketing Package. Now, this is for local Los Angeles businesses who are ready to launch, relaunch, or simply expose their business to grow. With this package, you're going to receive 6 months of online and offline marketing tactics in a customized plan for your business. You're also going to get a professional TV quality commercial filmed in an 1,800 square foot studio with multiple screening options. So if you're ready to grow, go ahead and click that link. We also have financing available. I'm looking forward to chat with you. Click the link and let's go.
And we back. So waiver wire, obviously we want to kind of give people in different ideas and options of players that they could pick because of injuries, obviously, or somebody who just not really performing well on who you think you could get for upcoming week. So Marco, what do you think? Who is that person that's not on everybody's roster that we could get or could replace the injured player? Who do you have for him?
So we've talked about a couple of guys already, as far as like DeAndre Carter with the San Diego Chargers. I mentioned as far as Keenan Allen being out. We talked about Tyler Boyd with regarding T. Higgins with the Cincinnati Bengals type of thing. I think we also touched upon Benny Snells and Jalen Ward with Pittsburgh Steelers pertaining to Najee Harris. But one guy I think that I personally kind of like with the Washington Commanders is Jahan Dotson, receiver with the Washington Commanders. I think today he played very well. He received a touchdown, and I think from my understanding, he's probably what I think you told me he's about 50.
Yeah, he's look like he's on 56% of rosters. 56% on ESPN.
56% of rosters. I know Curtis Samuel is in there as well, and I think he also got a touchdown. Now, the big receiver down there with the Washington Redskins is McLaren, but I think my understanding from the stats, McLaren didn't do anything big this weekend.
Right.
It seems like I think who's a quarterback? Carson Wentz, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, from my understanding, Carson Wentz has never been a big, down the field kind of guy. type of thing. He's always kind of been with the slots and kind of just going with the shorts. So that's why I think Curtis Samuel and Jahan Dotson are going to do great with the Washington Commanders, where before McLaren may suffer because of that type of thing. So my waiver wire of this pick would be Jahan Dotson with the receiver with the Washington Commanders.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So who I'm going to go with is because right now, running backs, Elijah Mitchell. If he don't come back that week, I would go ahead to slide Jeff Wilson on there. He's on 3.5%, rosters in ESPN. So I know ain't nobody got this dude. So
You're right.
what I mean? So nobody got this dude. Go ahead and get this Jeff Wilson because just in case Elijah Mitchell don't come back, because knee injuries, normally they don't really bounce back off of that, right? They're at least out of at least a week. Right?
It depends on what it is, but even when they come back, they're very cautious type of thing. Now, like I said, I personally have Elijah Mitchell in 2 of my 3 leagues. I'm not too happy about this, but I do agree with you as far as grabbing Jeff Wilson. I remember last year, Jeff Wilson actually did great. And I think one of the things that happened last year is that Jeff Wilson was hurt when Elijah Mitchell kind of took over on that part. So even if you have a roster spot, you should still grab Jeff Wilson. What I'm concerned from my end is that it may become a committee when Elijah Mitchell comes back. So Jeff Wilson's still going to give you some points. It may hurt me because it's going to take away points because I was expecting Elijah Mitchell to be a workhorse this year. So we'll see what happens. So I may have to go grab Jeff Wilson for that.
All right, cool. Sounds good. All right, so that's it with the waiver wire this week. Hey, you guys, tune in. Follow us on Instagram, the Waiver Wire Podcast. Later on this week, once we get the updates on these players that we talked about today, we're going to give you more insightful advice on on if you should, hold them, keep them, drop them, and everything here. So tune in next week for the Waiver Wire show. Thank you very much with Money Mike and Marco Nunez. We out.